Dear participants, as we are waiting for others to join in, we will make the start around 8:35. For those who participants who just joined, please ensure your microphones are muted. And as we are waiting for I apologize for the YouTube live streaming just now. For those participants who just joined, please ensure, first of all, your names uh, comes out in the full manner, not as abbreviations or representing a mobile phone or a iPad or tablet. Okay, please ensure that your name is in the full name. And after your name, please write if you are Tindak Petugas, open bracket, after your name, Petugas, close bracket. If it's Pemerhati, do the similar, because this will help the tracking of attendance. At the end of the day, you're not here to learn, but also we want to prepare you for the eventual election to come. So attendance taking is important for us. So we will make the start around 8:35. Turning on your video is optional. And for your information, no AI tools are allowed to be used. So we will not admit any particular tools that uses AI to transcribe any of the speaker's voices or even my voice or any of the participant voices to be the notes. So we want you to be focused during the training, not rely on AI. Thank you very much. We'll be making a start in 2 minutes time. Good evening, and my name is Danish. I'm the chairperson of the Persatuan Bertindak Pilihan Raya Bebas dan Saksama, or Tindak in short, and also the co-partners of Tindak Medicine Network Services PLT. First of all, I would like to welcome all our participants on Zoom, and also those who are watching on YouTube, and also those who are watching indirectly via Facebook and other forms of social media platforms. A few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, nearly a month ago, we in Tindak are proud to say we have deployed 8 Petugas Pilihan Raya candidates in 2 DUNs out of the 73. A wide range of KTMs, KPs, PAPM, or which now is called PPAM. Today, we are going to reflect on the experiences of the Sabah election from the perspective of a Petugas Pilihan Raya. So you will be actually be taken on a journey, not as a structured learning like how we did in the previous sessions. This is more of a sharing experience. You actually will learn everything from how to get the job, how to do the job, and any other things that we need to consider. So today we have brought in 2 speakers. Just to let you know, these are brand new speakers. You have not seen them speaking. They are just previously was our Petugas candidates. I have brought in 2 speakers, which are Martin Kenson and Esther, who are our 2 KTMs for the Sabah elections. Okay, Martin served in Dun Moyog, in Penampang, and Esther, I believe you served in Dun Likas. Correct me if I'm wrong later. So this is how the session is going to be structured. First of all, I will give you a quick introduction about what Tindak is, especially for those of us who have joined our webinars for the very first time or tuning in for the very first time. Subsequently, we will go to the first speaker, which is Martin. He will be given 20 minutes to present his experience. Then subsequently, Esther will give her experience 20 minutes. And finally, we wrap up with the Q&A. Should be around 40 minutes. Since we don't have a big crowd, I strongly encourage all participants, especially those who are the first time, who have not even heard about the Petugas Pilihan Raya, to ask as many questions as possible. Okay, please reserve all your questions towards the end. If there is any technical issues, please drop it in the chat. You may write your questions up, but it will be answered for Q&A, especially the ones pertaining to our Petugas. So let's make a start. First of all, a reminder to all our participants on Zoom. Please ensure that in your name, first of all, please ensure your names are written out clearly, proper names, so that we can keep track of your attendance. After your name, if you're a Tindak Petugas, open bracket, close bracket, please write the word Petugas. If you're Pemerhati, do this similar. This will help us to track attendance. Turning on the video is optional. The other thing is our speakers are not from Tindak per se, so their views are reflection of their views and not reflection of our views. So putting a disclaimer out for everyone to hear. Let me share with you a quick slides. Allow me to share my screen. Just bear with me because I just want to show you something. For those who have joined us for the first time, Tindak, or long time ago, most of us tend to associate with Tindak Malaysia. It's an electoral reform group. We are one of the many endorsing organizations to the Bersih Coalition. And we started out as a Pacha movement. And over time, we have expanded to cover other topics such as redelineation, election law reforms. And after 2018, we decided to take on the new challenges. We would like to repurpose all our ex-Pachas to become Petugas Pilihan Raya or Pemerhati election observers. So these are all our social media links. We are very quite active on our Facebook and X, but also do follow us in all the other platforms. Need not to worry, this will be dropped on the chat. Okay, we strongly encourage that you follow us. As for example, this session is being live streamed to YouTube. So you can follow us on YouTube, especially the sessions that we have done before. we we ask your kind support to financially contribute to our cause, of which you can scan the QR code and then you can just go to the SOCOM platform and you can make a contribution directly. So it's much easier for us to track. So let me stop sharing my screen. Now I'm going to allow Martin shortly to open the microphone and to start his presentation for 20 minutes. What I'm going to do is just give everyone a bit of a context about the Sabah elections 2025 from the perspective of the Petugas. So as you know, the Petugas Pilihan Raya as a movement, we started out in the month of September 2023. But as a matter of fact, that's officially we announced it to the public. But the groundwork for the Petugas as a concept, we started out as a call for reform back in 2012, but only materialized in 2019. Then from 2019 all the way to 2023, we have been participating in by-elections, state elections, and even GE as KTM, Kota Tapamundi, Kerani Pengundian, KP, KPDP, Kerani Penyemak Daftar Pemilih, PAPM Pemandu Arab Pusat Mengundi. Okay, but just letting you know, KPDP and PAPM has been merged together to become PPAM. This is something we have found for the Sabah elections. For the preparation for the Sabah elections, we have been recruiting Petugas candidates across Malaysia since 2023. Okay, officially, but we have been collecting Petugas people even before. So we have identified some of them who happen to be residing in Sabah, and we reminded them earlier this year, you need to start attend our trainings. So once they have completed the trainings, the time came, where would you like to serve? And once we decided to look at where would you like to serve, we contacted the relevant government officers, and that's how we found there were some vacancies taking place in Dun Moyog. So that's how we inserted some of our Petugas candidates. Some of us, some of the other Petugas candidates came out to us in the month of November, way after the Dun was dissolved. So later, the particular Petugas candidate will share the experience of how to get the job. Okay, but this is why we'd rather have everyone right now to be trained early so that we can raise the stage sometime next year to ask, where would you like to serve? Then we can start planning. Because for your information, Petugas Pilihan Raya vacancies are never advertised. You have to proactively find. In this country, we have 617 DUNs and 222 parliamentary seats. For Sabah, it was just 73 DUNs, means 73 government offices, 73 bureaucracies, 73 ways of trying to find a job. So without stealing the thunder of my speakers, we would like to open the time to Martin, who served as KTM for the first time. And for your information, all our Petugas candidates for Sabah elections were completely first timers. Over to you, Martin. Share us your experience. And you can share your screen.
Yeah. Momentusnya. Can you see this?
Okay, can you go to presenter mode?
Okay. First of all, good evening, everyone. My name is Martin. Today I will be sharing some practical sharing session focusing on the critical responsibility, one of the critical responsibility that we hold as a KTM. Okay, for our focus for this station is specifically on saluran 1 for SMK St. Michael and Dun Moyog, which fall under Penampang Utara district. Okay, a little bit introduction about me. Currently, I'm engaged with SP Setia Berhad as a authority liaison. So my past experience related to the election is during GE14 and PRK Kimanis and GE15 as a Pacha trainer. So this is my first time as a KTM, as a Petugas SPR. Okay. So, okay. We have 3 key operational scenarios. Number 1 is handling multiple Borang 10. Sorry. The 12 number 2, challenge 2 is the 12 candidate ballot paper. Number 3 will be the KTM apps for the turnout and Borang 13 and Borang 14. Okay, for handling multiple Borang 10, this is the so-called the 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 peraturan involved lah. Okay, so what is the key problems of but before that, KTM, the main challenge of KTM is to prevent to prevent a voter fraud while managing the voting process efficiently. So while handling multiple Borang 10, because I'm in Saluran 1, most of them are all the OKUs, old folks, orang tua, so the key problem, one of the key problem for this this challenge is high fraud risk, multiple Form 10 signal, potential organized impersonation and vote holding. So this one we have to examine the IDs carefully. Uh, wait, so number 2 will be each form require thorough check, slowing the queue and may increase error risk. So number 3, there's no legal limit on the acceptance. The KT must use discretion under pressure. So number 4, other voters may perceive fraud, risking arguments and lost confidence. So best practice to respond to this problem will be just on number 1, to examine IDs, interrogate the guarantor to make sure that the guarantor no, like for my case, most of the guarantor is the anak lah. For example, the anak, either anak or the parents themselves. So number 2, record details in Borang 10, and file special report noting the pattern and association. This one, there's one Borang for KTM that I did noted down lah, for how many Borang 10s observed. So number 3, handle each Form 10 but one by one to avoid confusion. Number 4, during each of Borang 10, normally I will brief to all the pacha, to all the polling agent, just to explain them the situation, what is the situation, the voters itself, the situation of the voters, and who's the guarantor. So number 5 will be the KTM can or should reject any declaration if the voter's identity or guarantor's bona fides are doubtful. So in my case, in my Saluran, there's no issue, no issue pertaining to this. But actually, myself, I did become the guarantor myself, for one voters. So number 2, the challenge number 2 is the 12 candidate ballot paper. So as you all know that for this election, in Sabah election, we have used the new ballot paper. For my case, in Dun Moyok, actually it's 12, but this one I use different Dun. In Dun Kepayan, it's 13 candidates. So what are the issues and implication for this 12 candidate ballot paper? So number 1 will be the ballot paper design. The paper design will be longer. The risk of ballot spoil is high. So number 2 will be the KP3 ballot paper management. So really, when tearing the ballot paper and to fold the ballot paper, it's not difficult, but it takes time. So number 3, of course, the pacha layout, polling agent seating, the arrangement, because of the 12 candidates, so required 12 pacha tables. But still, it depends because my saluran, our saluran is in the Dewan, in the hall, so it's quite big. So there's no issue so far. There's no issue. it's only a matter of how you arrange the table arrangement to make sure that there's no pacha complaint about cannot hear the KPs lah. Yeah. So here I just show you some videos about how actually the KP3 fold the ballot paper. So it's like this. It's about 2 of A4 size. So when they tear it, need to use the 30 cm ruler. So it's not that difficult, but may take time lah. Yeah. Okay, this is the contour of how to hold. Okay, next. Okay, this is my actual. If you see the photos below, this is the actual table arrangement in my saluran lah. So there's a KTM ballot box. Next to me is a KP4. Next to the KP4 is a polling booth for the voters to vote. KP1, 2, 3, and the polling agents. So actually, yeah. So far with this arrangement, there's no issue for Pacha to cannot hear or something like that lah. So I explained the issues. Number 4, peti undi ballot box planning. So longer ballot box paper may reduce the number of ballot per box. Before reaching weight or volume limits, may need additional boxes, which is not in my saluran, but in saluran 5, they use two ballot box, two ballot box. So number 5 was voter process flow. So like this one, time per voters. Voter may take longer to mark their choice among the 12 candidates. This could slow down queue flow, requiring additional staffing or compartment. So sometimes this one I will be not in my table. So I will assist the elderly. I will assist the PPAM or the police when they are there, when the voters, the elderly voters or disabled voters entering the saluran. So during counting process also, because there's a 12 candidates, so we need to sort 12 piles. We need to use longer table. So risk of higher invalid votes if voters mark multiple candidates. One of the issues as well. Yeah. Okay, next. Mitigation measure. So during pre-poll, ensure ballot papers are ready and stored securely. Conduct thorough briefing for polling clerks on procedure for 12 candidates. Arrange polling station layout to accommodate all agents without obstructing voters. So this one we've done before one day before. We ensure all the layout is in order, and then to ensure all the ballot papers as well. So on polling day itself, we are there at 5, as early as 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. So during that time, I brief all my KPs because of explaining to them about the ballot paper, how long is the ballot paper, and then to keep all the to make sure the KPs support each other. What I mean by this is sometimes the KP3 can change to KP1, KP1 can change to KP2 lah, just to make sure that we all in all the process in order lah. So monitor queue, voting department usage to manage delays. So this one, for my case, I check with my I did advise to the police as well to ensure outside there when they queue up, to manage the queue so that, and then to manage the voters from coming in. So this one we support together with the KP with the KPs. So during counting, we use large table to sort 12 candidate piles. Ensure counting is done clear view, and then KTM to oversee reconciliation of all ballot papers. Yeah, together with the agent, checked by agent. The process must be all must be done without any complaint by the agents lah. Every time we do, we keep brief to the agent what we do lah. Okay, the challenge number 3, the digital accountability KTM apps itself. So, what is the three key of this KTM apps? Number 1 will be live turnout updates. Need to updates. For my case, I update every 1 hours, if not mistaken. Yeah, every 1 hours. And then for Borang 13, we double check every digit. Once submitted, it's nearly final. Because once Borang 13 submitted, it's automatically will convey into the Borang 14. So Borang 14 is the critical one. So this is the official result. So anything that you enter here will be recorded through the SPR. So this the example of the real life, the real screenshot by from the KTM apps. Okay, next, best practice, ensure stable power, have a power bank. I did myself bring my power bank and then sync with physical forms, because the data in app must match with the signed physical Borang 13 and Borang 14. Do not rush. So I do keep repeat checking. I keep checking the numbers that I put. And there's some of the case when I do Borang 13, I ask my KP to check to verify also. Yeah. So in case of technical glitch, so you need to know who's the technical support person for the SPR in case there's a problem with KTM apps. So before start also, I save all the SPR numbers the RO, the RO, the ARO numbers, just in case if there's any issues. So this will be the general protocol as for the KTM. Number 1 will be primary document principle. In any dispute or uncertainty, the physical signed sealed document from 1314 take absolute precedence over the digital entry. So meaning the digital this KTM apps, the digital apps, it's only to help help us to help us to before we entering this before we submit the Borang 13, Borang 14, the manual one. So security of device, the phone table KTM apps must be password protected, never left unattended, just in case any other person will use it. So contingency plan will be the printed copies, relevant Borang on hand. Do not rely solely on the apps for critical operations, especially for the Borang 14. While the app itself is not shown, polling and counting agent have the right to observe all physical processes and document. Their queries must be addressed based on physical record. So in my case, every each of things that I do, for example, like Borang 13 that I share to them, I show to them, but I did not give to them, but I show to them, I explain to them, as well as the Borang 14 before I gave to them. So in summary, the KTM app is very powerful logistics tool. Actually, it really help us as a KTM. Not only help us as KTM, but it also reduce time. So, however, it is not. It's an admin aid. It's not a legal instrument, because the legal instrument will be the most The most essential is supposed to be the Borang 14, Borang 13 and Borang 14, the manual one, the Borang. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you so much. Danish, back to
Thank you
you.
very much. Yep. Thank you very much, Martin, for your presentation. I think also would like to highlight something for what Martin has mentioned. This is also our first batch of our KTMs to use the expanded version of the KTM app. Because for those who have used the KTM app from 2019 to all the way 2023, they were only limited to track attendance at the hourly basis. But since the Palangai by-election in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, the KTM app started to have additional uh, capabilities such as Borang 13 and Borang 14. We just finally got the chance for our Petugas candidates to live through this, right? Um, I would like to comment more, but I will reserve it that during the Q&A. So Martin, you can mute your microphone and stop
Yep.
sharing your screen. And I would like to call in our next speaker, Esther Lee Fung Wei, to unmute your microphone and turn on the video and share us your experience as a KTM for Dun Likas, if I'm not mistaken. Over to you, Esther.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Esther Lee, Fung Wei, and I'm actually my first time. This is my first time to become a KTM, and I like to share how to handle the relationship with those bacha. This is how I handle the relationship with all the bacha in my salulan. We have 6 to 7 bacha. So before we handle the bacha, I have to handle the 4 KP first. So I handle the 4 KP, and then we build a better relationship and a teamwork. So we help each other and support each other. So whenever we are in absence, for example, go to have a rest or have a break or go washroom, then my KP will take over. We also know how to handle the bacha when the bacha, because one of my duty to handle the bacha is to first before they go into the salulam, we have to check their identification, all those documentation, whether they are really the true bacha from their candidates appointed by their candidates. So also I also need to record down the the move in and move out of the bacha if they are leaving the place, because some bacha they change the shift. There is a shift. So during this, I first of all I have to handle with my KP first. So when I handle with my KP, and we will know, they also have a big part of my KTM job, so that whenever I was not there, they will handle. So we all have a teamwork. So when I handle this teamwork already, then we will be able to handle the 7 bacha smoothly. So so when bacha come in, and each bacha they got 7, one by one come in different time, and then my KP1 and all the KP2, they will check their documentation before allow them to go in, and I will brief them the rules and regulation when they remind like a revision for them, like no handphone on, and what are the documentation they allowed to bring in, and so forth. And this year I realized most of the bacha they have they have a booklet, same as our waters list. So in my Sanoran we have 300 over. So the bacha also have a 300 over water list, the booklet. So whenever our KP1 will announce, will read out the name of the waters, each water come in, and then the KP1 will announce it. And then excuse me for a while, because I stay in the place near the airport. Okay. So and then when we continue let the when the KP1 announce the name, and then the bacha they also cancel spread off the name, and they also follow whatever we do. So and then this is their right also, because the every candidate have the right to have the voter list, and then they also to check on whether the duty that we do whether correct or not. So I treated them as for example, if we are doing the job, someone is a check and balance, so they are the check and balance for our job, double check on whether we doing correctly or not correct. So I do not treat them as any negative. I treat them very positively, and I also working towards with them positively, and making a good teamwork, so that we can perform good in what they do and perform good in what we do. And we also sometimes, right, they also tired when you see the bacha, when before they sit down, and then after I brief them already, then everyone they sit down in their own place, and then sometimes they feel tired. Of course, everyone feel tired because somebody have to wake up very early. So I also will ask them whether they need water or whatever, if they need any help. So I initially, I of course, when I do briefing, I quite seriously. But when after some time, like after 1 or 2 hours, right, you can see them, they have tiredness or they feel hungry. Then I can also ask them whether they need any water or they need any bread. So I take initiative. Normally, when I attend before I become the KTM, I attend a Tindak Bacha session. So from the Tindak Bacha session, normally is the Bacha is the one who treat the KTM better. They will take initiative, encourage to take initiative and to treat the KTM. But my the 6 7 bacha in my saluran, they don't do that. It's okay. It's okay. Then I'm the one who do it. I initiative myself, and then I go and serve them. So I have a servant attitude. So it's not a bossy attitude. Like mean I hold the authority. The in that saluran, I'm the one. What I say is the final, but I do not abuse, and I also treat the power given to in my hand. I want to use it fairly, fair to everyone, and I treat everyone fairly, and I respect their job also as a bacha. So this is my attitude. So I handle them, and we not only able to perform the duty from for long hours, but we also become a bit of like build a good friendship as well. And sometimes I also say one or if we find something very funny inside during the water when they come in, they do something quite funny. We all after the water left already, then we have a little bit of relaxing conversation, so that we all feel not so stressed, so that it helps every one of us to continue to stay on focus on their job. And then also I remember one bacha, and then they also have I remember one bacha, right? They don't even have a shift. So he's a new one. He's an Indian guy, and then he sit down there. He don't have any person to guide him. I saw he is don't know what to do. It's a bacha that don't know what to do. What is he going to sit down there? The rest is so busy doing their work. They bring paper lah, they count, they cross, and they have a lot of information on the paper, got table, chair, and stationery. But this Indian guy, he doesn't have any documentation or whatever in his hand. He just sit down there, and then he don't know what he's doing, and then he don't know what he should do. So I also like encourage him and ask the bacha team next to him to give him a paper or ruler, and at least he write something. He heard something, he write down. At least he can report lah. He can able to report back to the candidate or whoever the ketua baca that send him to this saluran to oversee. Okay, I also remember. So that's why when we always check and balance, right? Every time like I also like ask them how many, and then already, because we need to know how many water already come. I need to do a report to the system, the KTM system. Every hour I have to report. So I also double check with them, like maybe after in the late afternoon already. I like 3 hours before the closing time. I start to ask them. I get to know what's your figure, and then they also mention their figure. We verbally mention our figure. So we already roughly we counter check the balance of each bacha. Any differences among us. Most of them are correct. Only one or two are like one or two number different. So we all update each other. And then this is how we get our work smoothly and teamwork. And then we find out where we make mistake. Of course, the bacha they find out where they make mistake. So far, so good lah. In my saluran. And how I handle the young water. When the water come in, right? And then of course have to smile because they feel very tense. They like some people, they maybe first time they come to ward, they don't know where to ward and then where to start first. Then we also stick up all the explanation outside the board. And then we have the police outside also help us to check the IC first before they come in. Because I remember one young water, he doesn't even bring his IC to come. He just show his IC in picture in the handphone. He said, can I work using the IC inside my handphone? I gently, politely to ask him, where do you stay? I don't say cannot, but I said, where do you stay? And then he said, oh, he just stay opposite the voting center. Then I politely asked him whether can you, since it's so near, maybe you can go back to take your IC lah. I said after half an hour he really come back and then he used his original IC and then to come and vote again. So I want to encourage the young voter to vote and not to discourage them, and by showing very like bossy attitude. But my principle is to make friendly attitude and friendly and encourage people to come and vote, because this is the KTN to us to ensure the people able to have the chance to vote and the voting process is smoothly, and people, everyone had the opportunity to come. So when I handle and then sometimes the young voter, and then we smile to them, and then my KP1 also they also will greet them, hello, good morning, like that, and then treat so that their emotion not so tense and they feel more relaxed, and they have the confidence to vote what they want to vote. I remember there is one very old, even though in the saluran also can appear OKU and very old age, is the uncle like age 70 already. And then a young guy, it's not the young guy that vote, it's an old guy that come in. Then it attract my attention. So I saw him, the old man, that his the leg is like not walking very smoothly, so he need the rely on the young man to help him to move around. And I saw the situation like that, right? Immediately I volunteer myself and helpful to help the old man to guide him to the place that he walk and to teach him how to walk. And then he keep on, he very struggling whether he don't know what to walk. I just say I explained to him how to walk, and then so that he really, even though he keep on looking on the young man, but I said, uncle, you can walk according to what your heart want. I said, then you just walk one, you don't walk all the number. So finally he successfully did his walking. During this time the KTM job to handle this bacha and these waters. Of course, there is a buku kerja to do all the recording for the bacha, and any bacha they come in, count, there is a record of the timing. Normally it's 2 hours. They can when shift or half day like that can have a shift. And then also there is a ketua bacha, or sometimes the candidate will come and visit the bacha or whatever, see everything okay. And then I also, as a KTM, we hold as a ketua, we have a buku kerja to record all the event, whoever come in and come out, and visitation. So I record down. So and then during the counting in the final session, when the observation bacha become a counting agent. So those who left before that, we have to check the documentation again. The bacha now no longer bacha, but it's a counting agent. So at the end of the session, that we have to fill in the form 13 and also the form 14. So even though in the form 13 do not allow to chop lah. The KTM not allowed to chop on the form 13, but I can give them my copy and then get them to record down my copy. So they also copy from my the Borang 13 lah. So because we all agree on when we counting, we all agree already. We double check, everybody agree. Then I write down the Borang 13. I have to ensure every 7 bacha agree. Then I close the account and filling in the Borang 13 and then also the Borang 14. So this is how I do my job as a KTM. Okay, thank you. That's my sharing.
Okay, so thank you very much, Esther, for your sharing, and I hope everyone has taken notes on how you should relate to young voters, because her saluran dealt with young voters. So it's very interesting that in this Petugas deployment, we had one KTM serving saluran one, which is basically senior citizens plus OKU voters. And then on the flip side, we have another KTM who's serving as in the young voter saluran, where you will have new voters and whatnot. Okay, so I will just make some quick remarks. Then I will open the time for Q&A, of which there's already one question popped up. I think I would like to reflect upon something about this usage of the digital version of the MyKTM app, specifically for Borang 13 and Borang 14, because it is an administrative aid, as correctly pointed out. But I think it is very important that when you do fill up things on Borang 13, some of the information gets transmitted and be cross-referenced on Borang 14 via the system itself. And more importantly, as a KTM, especially during the counting, you do need to know whether things tally up correctly in Borang 14. So for your information, I have seen a situation in Dun Usukan for the Sabah state elections of 2025. There was a case in the Form 14 itself. There's more than 100 plus unwritten votes. This is for Undi Biasa. When you see a high amount of unwritten votes, even let's say it already start exceeding 2 or 3, you should not sign off, nor does Apache should sign off the Borang 14. You should do a prompt investigation and find out what happened. And you should have actually checked on your Borang 13, Borang 14 on the MyKTM app. Was there anything mistaken? And that is why as KTMs, you need to be alert about the total number of voters, because at the end of the day, you don't want the situation in Borang 14 where the total ballots issued exceed the total number of voters, because that's a really clear red flag or something has really gone wrong. Okay. Another thing is for case which I think Esther didn't elaborate about, was her experience getting this Petugas job. Because in her case, she applied, I believe, in the month of November, way after the dissolution and, edging closer to the nomination day. So finding petugas vacancies at the 11th hour is an extremely difficult task. So we advised her that why don't you just knock into the written any government offices, right? So I'm just letting you know at that given stage, and even before that, you want to know petugas vacancy jobs, you should not go to SPR office. The most they can tell you is they will tell you which government office you should deal with, right? But in the case for Sabah, unfortunately, I have to make it clear the SPR Sabah wasn't helpful. So for the positions for like Martin and his friends in Dun Moyog, I had to door knock pretty much all the different Duns, different government offices, and that's how the vacancy was found, right? So in the case of Esther, I believe she knocked one of the government offices, and then she made the necessary application. Then she contacted me, uh, because the moment you, whether you are a KTM, KP, or any other Petugas Pilihan Raya, the moment you got some sort of appointment, right, an official appointment, you should immediately apply for postal vote if you happen to be voting for that elections. Say for the case of Sabah state elections, our Petugas candidates are also voters. So as a Petugas Pilihan Raya, you are entitled to postal vote because on election day, you don't have the time to go and cast a ballot. You are on duty, you do your duty via the postal ballot. So fortunately, she managed to, and her KP managed to complete the whole postal voting on the pretty much on the last day, and she got it through. And that subsequently, all our Portuguese candidates got the postal ballots. They voted via that mechanism, and then they carried out their duties. Okay, so let me read out the questions, and I will open the time for all the others to ask questions verbally. I encourage verbal questions. Okay. Polling in Sabah commences at 7:30 a.m. As the presiding officer, Ms. KTM, serving in Likas and Moyog, what time do you have to be in the polling stream on the polling day for the setup and other related work? So this is about in the poll on the polling day. Okay. I can recall in GE 15 2022, the polling, this is in Peninsular Malaysia, commences at 8 a.m. and concludes by 6 a.m. The KTMs already in the polling stream have already fast set up and other works. So we would like to know from Martin and Esther, since polling starts exactly at 7:30 in the morning, what time do you have to have the whole thing completed by?
Hello, Dinesh. Okay,
Yep.
I start. For my case, actually, I'm at the polling station at around before 5 a.m. Why? Because I need to go to the lockup. So for my case, me and other KTM, we agreed to we use one van, the school van, to go to the lockup together. So my case 5 a.m. and then after that, reach at polling itself at around before 6 a.m. So other KPs around 6 a.m. all over there already. Yeah, at the polling station. Yep.
For my saluran, and then we need to cater everyone, like, so 4 o'clock we need to meet at the police station there, and then together we have to get our peti unti, and then in order to get the peti unti, we have to make sure all our saluran KTM are there. So we wait until 5. Then all the saluran already there, then we able to go and get the peti unti box. So then the police will escort us to the voting center in the Likas. So we reach there before 5:30. Then we start to set up the because one day ahead we already set up the counter, the paper, and so when we get the documentation and all the necessary documentation, and then we set up, and then before 6:30 we already set up everything.
So those who intend to be Petugas Pilihan Raya, especially as a KTM, very important, you have to sleep early the night before. because you're going to have an early day start, and it doesn't mean your early day start means early day finish. No, you'll be early day, maybe like for Esther, you have to be there, but you have to be there by 4 o'clock in the morning. You will be there probably until the end of poll and sorry, end of the counting at the tally center. As getting, you have to go into the tally center, right? So sometimes if there is issues, you might have to stay until midnight or even past midnight. So it's very important those who become Petugas Pilihan Raya for that one particular day. It's pretty much you're working close to 24 hours. So please ensure you have a proper sleep. And we give advice to all our Petugas Pilihan Raya candidates as closer during the elections, right? It's not about just giving technical training, how to just handle how to fill up the forms, but how do you handle these other soft skills or other things you need to consider. So one of the things we tell it to all our Petugas candidates, for that week leading up to that elections, just few days before, don't try any new food. Just stick to what you have. So now it's not the time to experiment. Okay. Now I would like to open the time for others to ask questions. We have 34 minutes for anyone to ask questions. Anyone? Vikar, can you unmute your microphone?
Right. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yeah.
All right. Just curious that regarding about the polling day, I found that there's a lot of senior citizens and they have some difficulty for them to climb the ladder and also use the staircase to the ballot box, but I believe that there should be enough volunteer to assist those elderly. So there are quite huge number of elderly. So I believe that this is a new mechanism that can be useful, whereby that beside to call the elderly, so we can use elderly situation where we can put all these elderly people above 60s in one site, so they have more flexible and accessible to vote for the ballot box.
Okay.
Thanks.
I will make a quick response, but then I will allow Martin to respond, because Martin was the KTM of Saluran 1, which had to handle those 60 years old and above plus OKU voters. Okay, generally speaking, the Saluran with the lowest number, not necessarily have to be one, Saluran with the lowest number is the one that is dedicated for senior citizens plus OKU voters. They are the most accessible, and they should not be involving climbing a staircase or anything of that manner. It's completely at the ground floor. So if there was a case of climbing the stairs, it should have been limited to 1 or 2 steps, but even that, it should not even exist, because as a returning officer, you should make an effort to create what you call ramp, or in Malay, called tanjak, right? Because it's not about senior citizens. Not all senior citizens can even climb 1 or 2 steps. Maybe some are already wheelchair, right? Some are okay voters. So anyway, I would let Martin tell his story about his school. Maybe Martin, can you tell about the lay of your school? Is it on flat ground, or is it any parts hilly? How does the senior citizen? Yeah.
Can. Okay, supposedly, like Nadesh said, supposedly for saluran satu, I mean, normally saluran satu will be the saluran for OKUs and the elderly. So normally, supposedly, all the saluran satu for the elderly and OKUs will be on the ground. For example, if it's a school, there's no hall. It will be the lower class lah, at the ground floor. And then for my case, our saluran satu and saluran dua in day one. So day one is the most nearer to the gate, to the entrance gate, and then accessible for we have make sure accessible for the wheelchair, everything lah. So I'm not sure which dune is that, but supposedly all are accessible, easily accessible for this elderly and OKUs lah. Yeah, that's my.
Vika, you wanted to say something? Can you unmute yourself?
Um, I understand that some of the hall has been used more accessible, but I did a studies in others country whereby what they are doing is that they will prepare a place especially for voting, which I believe that is similar like a hall, but it more be more systematic, where all elderlies and all senior citizens, all disabled, and those who having a special care, so they basically will come with their like wheelchair, with some kind like mobile thing. So for them to stand and walk, it will be difficult. So there should be a mechanism that should look into it whereby these people are more accessible, better accessible, and they have what do you call this? What do you call this? Time that they able to cast their vote. So it will assume that, for example, in one place in Kawang or any other places, maybe in Batangas. So a lot of people might have difficulty because the queue is long. So in order to cut the queues, I mean, in order to reduce the queue, that there will be another mechanism that the saluran satu, saluran dua, and the three, so they can divide into more better saluran for the for the youngsters. Of course, they prefer to go because they have access. So for this, the disabled and senior citizen, so they should come out with one new mechanism for that. So I believe that from using the school, so hall will be the best option. That's what I can say.
So, Vika, am I correct to say you saw this issue in Dun Petagas and Dun Kawang? Am I correct to say, or something? Am I not getting it right?
I just take an example only. So in Dun Petagas, there's a lot of senior citizen and elderly people. So I was observing, but because I'm from the Kawang Dun, so I because one of my friend who was from Sabah, so she voted for in Petagas, so I visited her. So I because mine is unable to go in because my constituency was under Papa. So Papa have three dudes. So yeah, so I cannot enter. But what the feedback that I got it is similar like that. So I just share that.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Now I want to read out the next question, but this is a question that I will answer because it's not relevant for KTMs. I understand the Undi 18 is registered automatically without filling up any prior forms by young voters. I'm skeptical that there may be a tendency to have some flaws looking back at the history of the phantom voters. Okay, so in Sabah. Okay, let me just answer this question for everyone's interest. From SPR's perspective, they rely on our National Registration Department, the NRD or JPN in Malay. And if they have determined that they are Malaysian citizens, then they 18 years and above, they get registered automatically. Now, definitely there were concerns raised by political parties in December 2021 and even leading up G15 about why suddenly Sabah have a spike of this population due to Undi 18 and also because of AVR. But as far as I'm concerned, that generation you're talking about, those who probably came through the project IC, they already have become citizens. Now their children has already become Malaysian citizens. So who are we to question that? Now, if there are concerns about the citizenship thing, that's a question that you can raise it with EC, but you have to back up with your evidence. But the most EC can do is collaborate with relevant government agencies, not only just JPN, but also other government officers to validate it. But if you ask me, if you're referring to the generation that came after the project IC, so long they're qualified as Malaysian citizen, 18 years and above, I don't think so. We need to be so skeptical unless you have the evidence of something fraudulent has taken place during the citizenship, of which you have to pursue it with JPN, not with EC. Okay. Let me. Any other questions? Yes,
Uh,
Vika.
yeah, regarding about your point that you raised, actually, it's a very good point. So a lot of people was questioning about the nationality of people in Sabah, because I have monitored there is a lot of people, especially Pakistani and others nationality. So they're holding a Malaysian PR. I'm not sure about because I have read the reports about the IC project long time ago. So this is showing that the is a very serious issue because uh, those foreigners, especially from the country that I mentioned just a moment ago, so they are holding. So you won't surprise if their name is totally different from what they are. You don't surprise because this has happened already. I do believe that National Registration Department have issued a valid IC, but the question will be arising that the generation of this person, because when you are given a national registration card to someone based on the IC project, so it was totally showing that there is some kind of fishy. So of course, people will question how you get this national registration because you are not born and raised over there. So people will have this doubt. So a question on integrity and transparency will be on the book. So I just put it this point. I'm not surprised when there is 1,000 over Pakistanis over there, 1,000 people from different countries. So they are getting their IC. So this raises a very serious question. You just imagine like a person need to wait for almost 30 years, 20 years to get an IC. So people like them, they got it the IC through how? The process. Is it through the birth or through the another way? So I just leave it. Thanks.
Yeah. So this is a question that one should raise with JPN. Okay, because it is on them more than the EC to handle that, because what we have right now, the situation with automatic voter registration is the moment the person has been determined to be a Malaysian citizen, SPR takes it, right? Of course, SPR does do their independent verification. Not, I don't recollect they're doing particularly for the questions that has been raised or the matter that has been raised for this, but I know they do scrutinize senior citizens or 100 plus years old just to make sure are they alive or not. Okay, so SPR does actively on that part. But particularly about the question about phantom voters or project IC, well, the onus is on JPN. If you find something is really not right, please ask JPN and show the evidence that are they really qualified to be Malaysian citizen based on, on what basis. Okay, so this is something that I rather recommend or everyone uh, start approaching the right relevant authority, because the voter roll is a subset of the citizen register. Yes,
Dinesh,
Vika.
I just want to add other things. Besides then another Pakistani, but there's also Filipinos, especially Philippines.
Yeah.
From the Solo side,
Yeah.
they also have their generation over there, so they can justify that my generation was here a long time. So I got it through them. So I understood that because that is totally understood. But from outsider who came and get the IC, so a question is arising on the JPN integrity, so and transparency. So when people who are born in a country like Malaysia, especially in Sabah, so they automatically become citizen. But if you came and lived there more than 30 years or 40 years, so you still doesn't get your IC. So that is another question mark. So uh, of course, what do you call this JPN, SPR, they basically have a council like Malaysian National Security Council. So this council should look into this type of matters because they are responsible on the matter of the national security, because IC is a national security. So this is a point that I like to raise. Thanks.
Okay. So I would like to end on that topic. But anyway, I would like to open the time for other questions, because we would like to veer back our conversation to the Petugas Pilihan Raya. And please be mindful of the topics that you would like to raise and questions. Try to keep it to the topic and the line of thinking that we have been going so far. So any other questions, especially those who have not asked any questions? There was a silent crowd. We got around 20 minutes. No, good question. Can I ask, do we need to have experience to work as Petugas before becoming KTM? The answer is no. What is the bare minimum requirement to be a KTM? 18 years above, Malaysian citizen, not holder of party positions, must be willing to attend the trainings, and also commit to the days of duties. Okay, that's the bare minimum that SPREC have to say. The returning officer will have an additional layer of requirements. For example, they would say the maximum age is 60 years old, or maximum age is 58. Okay, so they tend to put the maximum limits. And then they will say, oh, my preference is the people have to come from my department, or those people from the schools. So recently we put an instruction, a directive stating that for the upcoming Kinabatangan and Dun Lamak by-elections, we are not participating as Petugas or Pemerhati, but Petugas specifically, for a very simple reason. The PRK Kinabatangan and Dud Lama, the election is going to be pretty much run by the same polling staff of the state elections because of the close proximity, right? So since they don't advertise these jobs, most likely if you try to proactively approach them, they would say, look, I'm going to use the people of the past. This is not EC's directive. This is returning officers' approach, because they run the elections. For your information, while we always have this belief that the EC runs election, yes, that's because what the Constitution says so. But when EC issues the writs of elections to the returning officer runs the election on behalf of the EC. So the returning officer gets some general instruction from EC. For example, what kind of people we should consider for Petugas. But it is on the returning officer who will determine the Petugas criteria. Then we in Tindak, we have our own layers. Ours is far more rigorous, far more detailed, because we want to know, are you serving as Petugas because for the sake of the position or sake of the money, or are you here to serve the country, right? Are you committed to the trainings? Are you committed to learn? Are you committed to make a difference, And that's what we are after. But that's I'm just summing up. So there, EC has its own requirements, ROS has its own requirements, and Tindak has its own requirements. Past experience is a nice to have, but it is not essential. So for your information, all our 8 Sabahan Petugas candidates, Dun Dikas and Moyo, they are first time in the realm of Petugas Pilihan Raya. They did not have a single prior experience, but because they have attended our trainings, they have received our support. That just letting you know, after nomination, we give them additional trainings, additional quick 8 sessions, just to make sure that they're really on top of the job and on top of the duties to come. Okay, let me see what's the next question. Okay. So those who as Petugas kindly continuously join our trainings, because the coming year we're going to have the Malacca state elections, then we have the Sarawak state elections, then we have Johor election, and next thing you know is GE. So as well get all the trainings done by next year, and then we just focus on our Petugas employment. And please advertise our Petugas website. I've already dropped it in the link. I'll drop it again. Petugas Tindak Malaysia. Disseminate is for the public. We are looking for 617 Petugas candidates for next GE15. Sorry, GE16, my apologies. Why 617? Well, that's the total number of DUNs. So ideally speaking, we should have 1 Petugas candidate for every DUN. Okay, it doesn't have to be in one every DUN, but if we can get 617 or more, 17 and more, 617 and more, that would be fantastic. Any questions? Especially those who are Petugas want to know what is it like to serve in the elections, candidates, or Pemerhatis who are going to evaluate. Please unmute your microphone. Okay, so maybe while I'm waiting for others to ask questions, I will just ask one or two questions to for Martin and Esther to keep the conversation going. So Martin, in your case, from what you recollect, how many Borang tents you had to issue?
I didn't I didn't check, but I think it's
Roughly.
around roughly it's around maybe if not mistaken, should be more than wait check again. Should be more than 15, 16 like that lah. I think it's close 20 plus It's
20 plus.
23 or 20 plus or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you had enough Borang tents because of this voluminous
Yeah,
numbers?
I do have. Actually, I do have two sets
Ah.
of the borang lah given to the KTM. Yeah.
Next question, Martin, is yes, you were serving in a constituency with 12 candidates. How many pachas were there, and were they satisfied with the layout that was given to you? Because they were, basically in two rows.
Okay. In my dues, I have 12 candidates, but unfortunately only 6 pacha came present. 6 pacha. So far there's no issue because I actually once the pacha came, I do briefing. I did ask them also. I did brief them. If any question, just raise hand and ask directly to me. So far there's no issue lah. Yeah.
Okay, so now I will move the question to Esther. In your case, because you handled young voters and also new voters, were there any issues of anyone trying to use a handphone to take the photos of this historic moment, or where everyone was disciplined?
Oh, because already know that no handphone is not allowed to bring in when they vote do their voting. So the voting station there, I put the no handphone sign very big in front of the voting area. So everyone automatic, and then will want to leave their handphone and then or their handbag on the floor before they go and vote. So our KP will help them to use the box and then to help them to take care of the handphone after they vote, and then the KP will return the handphone.
Okay. Okay, the next question, Esther, is I believe you had, let me try, was it 6 or 7 candidates? Okay, and you, in your case, you were given a classroom. Was that enough capacity for all the tables laid for all the pachas?
Actually, in Likha setting there is under a hall, so the 4 salular is all there, so the spacing is enough.
Okay, spacing is not an issue. Okay, but one of the challenges with halls, even same thing for Martin's case, in your case, you had 4 salurans in the hall. You have this noise, the voice of the other salurans reading out the names. Was that an issue for you? And if it is, how did you manage it?
So far, because I think the hall is tall and big, the voice is not a issue in the salon.
Okay, good to know.
So far, so good.
Yeah, this is important for those of Petugas Pilihan Raya hall. If you get into the hall, this is something you have to consider. Any other questions? We got around 11 minutes. Especially those who have not asked any questions, please use the opportunity.
Can I say something to encourage those
yes,
who like
yes, please. Yes, please do.
For whoever like to become TTM, actually it's not so like high qualification. You must be somebody, then you then can are eligible to become apply for the job. You can volunteer yourself and look for your district district center and look for those people. Ask them who are the assistant returning officer. Normally the district or area, right, of, for example, district of certain town area, then you go there and visit them and have a gentle visitation and say greeting to them and get to know who are the ARO, assistant returning officer. Then normally returning officer are more even higher ranking, but the assistant returning officer are normally the lower ranking government staff in the district office there. So you welcome everyone to go and volunteer yourself, get to know who are them first. Who are those assistant returning officer, and then you visit them, and then you greet them, and then also you also have to introduce yourself. Who are you? And then actually, in order to become a KTM, even a housewife, a normal people also can do. It's not like, oh, you must be certain experience, what. No such thing. Is a very friendly environment for everyone. It's very open for every Malaysian to apply KTM. As long as you don't miss the taklimat lah, because they have a taklimat time. So SPR is the one who handle all those taklimat. So you also follow up SPR for all the taklimat. You inform the SPR, you voluntarily, you want to aggressively, even though you are not a KTM or whatever, you want to know, you want to learn. You get them to inform you, even though you are not being selected, but you also want to learn how to become KTM or KP or whatever training. You want to get know about SPR system, and then you have the interest, you show them you are very strong patient on this. You want to help them also, even though
Thank you,
without
Esther.
getting the job.
Thank you very much, Esther. I hope everyone, those who have not signed up
May
as
I
Martin,
add?
yeah. Yes,
May I
please.
add? I mean, for my case, once Danish is the one who contact them first. I do the follow up. While I'm doing follow up, I don't know is this method can be used in Peninsula lah, but in Sabah, what I did is I used the Tindak Malaysia name lah. I just like says that okay, we are from Tindak Malaysia. I keep stress the word Tindak Malaysia so that if they go and check, they know that this Tindak Malaysia is actually solely for this election. So I use that. I introduce myself lah as a Tindak Malaysia that we are trained, something like that. So actually, in fact, actually, it's not only Moyok. Actually, I've been offered to other dun as well. Yeah, right, Dinesh.
Yes.
I keep rejecting so many times already. Something like that lah. Yeah, just for others to know lah. Yeah.
So actually, for your information, everyone, I think before I open the time, there's one more question that popped up. So this is how the whole Petugas thing flows. In an ideal sense, this would have taken place. I think that's the experience that Martin went through, but it's very different for Esther. First of all, you apply as a Petugas candidate. The fact that you're invited to join the webinar means you have been qualified as a Petugas candidate. So you complete all the relevant trainings with us. Then that's the second stage, complete the relevant training. The third stage is we'll come to you during an election time or even getting closer. For example, let's say we take the example of Malacca elections. We know there's 28 duns. That time will come even before, maybe a few months before, we'll approach you, okay. So there's 28 duns. Where would you like to serve? Would you like to serve in the constituency that you have done before? Or would you like to explore something else, right? In my experience is if you already serve in the past constituency as a Petugas Pilihan Raya, just stick to them. But I'm not stopping you from exploring others. You said, Danish, I want to explore another dun. I want to experience something else. So we usually were, in ideal sense, we will ask you, list out your top 3 constituencies. You choose. Then what we'll do is we will door knock, like what Esther had to go through, right? With a door knock. Then we'll find out who is open. And bear in mind, that period of time, you need to be vigilant because one day I might have phone call you and just say, there's a vacancy. for KTM for this dun or this school, can you take it? And by then your answer should be yes. Even if you don't get KTM role, aim for even for KP, because the point is you may exist or not exist in the Petugas repository somewhere. Okay, so for the case of Martin and Esther, moving forward, you don't have to hunt for the job. Next time, the job will hunt for you. That's a very different power dynamic that's taking place for both of you and for all those who have served as Petugas. But that's specifically for the areas that you have served, for example, Likas or Moyo. But let's say you say for Malacca, if you have served in previously in Dun Kota Laksamana and you say I want to serve in Dun Gadek, then you are considered as new person. So you have to make your case, convince them that I can be the person that you want to fill up the vacancy. Once you move from the deployment, that's the deployment stage, which I explained just now, then will come the time when the taklimats from the SPR will come in. So for the case of Martin and all the Petugas friends, they went through the taklimat in the month of September, because at any moment the Sabah Dun was going to get dissolved, right? Once the taklimat is over, that's where you get more or less your appointment letter, ideally speaking, or sometimes the appointment letter thing will come a bit later. That's where you shift from being a tentative Petugas to a confirmed Petugas. But meanwhile, we already start preparing you all the relevant materials. We will tell you this is the materials you should be reading up. We will post questions for you to answer, or we remind you this is things you need to learn. And we will support you all the way to the election day, right? And then once election day, that's this the fourth stage. Once election day is all over, then we will look back again. That's what we did with our Petugas candidates, specifically our KTS. We do a post-mortem. What worked, what didn't work. But more importantly, it's not for us to reflect. We want to funnel these findings to our EC. And we did have communicated to EC some of the good stuff they have been doing. So, a good example is for Martin's Dun Moyo, Kapayan, it was kind of managed, not by, I'm talking from a training point of view, by the Pejabat Pilihan Raya Negeri Sembilan. So Pejabat Pilihan Raya Negeri Sembilan has taken proactive measures to organize their own online training with the Petugas candidates. If you ask me, this is something I've not seen before. All the experiences of all the Petugas candidates I've dealt since 2019. So, of which I told our deputy EC chairman, that's fantastic. Someone has just shown that you can do a proactive training outside the taklimat. An online Q&A. Is extremely helpful for all those who are going to serve as Petugas, be it experienced or not experienced. Okay, so that is why I encourage everyone. Please follow and attend all our trainings. Get it done as fast as possible, and then we can focus on the third stage, which is deployment and subsequently getting the job and moving forward. Okay, next question is from Fang Hao. In Likas, and I think this is the same question can be asked for Moyo. The polling streams are located in the hall. Is the hall air conditioned or just have a fan? So Fang Hao has served as a KTM before, and this is his experience, if I'm not mistaken, for Johor. That some hall in Johor used for polling centers does not have aircon. Only a fan is available. So Martin and Esther, were your halls had
In
fan
this
or
area,
aircon
it's
or both?
aircon.
Aircon, huh? Okay, good. Martin?
Unfortunately, in my place, it's not aircon lah. It's an only fan. So far it's okay also, because it's the day one. I mean, that time also not that hot lah. It's still manageable lah, but not aircon lah. It's a fan.
Okay. So I hope everyone understands, those who are serving in the day one, you can have two possibilities. Sometimes it's not only the day one, some of the returning officers even create their own dedicated fully blast aircon tents outside school buildings to accommodate saddle runs. So if that happens, just make sure you wear proper clothing, because you're going to be there for the whole day in it. Okay, we have 1 more minute before we wrap up. Any last round of questions or comments? Any last round of questions or comments? If there is none, I shall call it for a day. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining our last Petugas Pilihan Raya webinar. And let me see, there's some message coming up. Okay. Yeah, so by the way, I just want to read out this message. Singham is one of our long-time Tindak person, served as KTM for parliamentary seat at Tambun in 2022, and one of our former leaders also. So congratulations to all new Petugas candidates for your successful participation in the recent elections. Thank you to the speakers and participants for making tonight's webinar a success. So let us continue our efforts to improve the conduct of elections. So if you want a fast conduct elections in Sabah and as well in other places. So if you want a fast, free and fair election, be a Petugas Pilihan Raya. I'm going to drop that link again for everyone's interest before you check out. Share this link to all your contacts, and I'm going to also share this on the screen. We do recruitment of Petugas candidates every week. We don't wait for elections, okay? So circulate this. Those who in Sabah, circulate this in Sabah. Those who in Sarawak, please circulate, just spread it around. And I'm going to share my screen so that everyone watching live can see this. This is a website, right? Later, we will add the videos and the reading materials via the resource sections. But this gives you an idea about how to become Petugas, what are the criteria and whatnot, okay? And the form to fill up is join us. Yes, the form asks a lot of questions because we are after high quality, dedicated Petugas candidates, because at the end of the day, we want free and fair elections, and the fastest way to implement free and fair elections is via the Petugas program. Okay, so stop sharing. I would like to thank our speakers, Martin and Esther, for sharing your experiences, your personal experiences on how to handle the various issues ranging from tough candidates to handling pachas to new voters and finding job and everything in between. So we hope to see everyone in the next coming webinars in 2026, and wishing you everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much, and I will end the